Okay, so boom! Yes, I stole that from Kage the Dawn. Welcome to your magic moon message, ladies and gentlemen. The moon has entered grounded, rich, and wealthy Taurus, and the sun is still in wild Sagittarius, the creator. We are reaching a 150-degree angle between the sun and the moon based on the zodiac. Of course, if you were to cast this along the real sky and the constellation, it would still be the same angle. It's not 150 degrees yet. It would still be the same angle, meaning that the moon would be in Aries while the sun is in Scorpio, but it will still be getting ready to make a 150-degree angle. Obviously, we don't use sidereal. We're going to base this off of tropical, the imaginary space, the ecliptic, sun's path with intersecting the Earth's equator. So the moon is about like 0 to 5 degrees right now. Once the moon makes it to like 20, 21 degrees in Taurus, boom, we've activated this 150-degree angle, Virgo signature of integration. What are we integrating? Well, we had the new moon activation in Sagittarius, which activated the new vision. The moon in Pisces, after the moon in Capricorn and Aquarius, activated this new vision by, of course, through Capricorn, manifesting the integral direction that we take this vision, and Aquarius strengthening the knowledge around what the fuck this vision is and how supernatural it is and how you're going to be creating out of this world. Okay, that was whatever. But the knowledge that will support the language to put your vision into words with advanced mechanics. The moon in Pisces now integrated this cycle collectively by now having you understand a shift of beliefs that support this vision. We now went into the moon in Aries that, relative to these beliefs, which influence your self-concept, had you now drive this vision through the understanding of yourself. Go back the past 2 days, especially the past few hours, and ask yourself if you've come into a much more authentic understanding of not only who you are, but with the sun in Sagittarius, it is giving you now a higher perspective, a collective awareness of who you are. For reference, let's go back to April or end of March, where we had the sun in Aries and the moon in Aries, where you were coming into an understanding of who you are relative to an individual awareness of who you are. Very personal. Then around like late August or late July into August, we had the sun in Leo with the moon in Aries. So now our understanding of who we are was now influenced by our awareness of how we take our individuality on stage and we integrate that socially with other people. Because, you can look at yourself and you can have your own personal ideas of who you are, but then you can go on stage interfacing with other people, and your understanding of who you are is integrated with surrounding perspectives. And now with Sagittarius, we're taking this awareness to like a bird's eye ascended view, where you're looking down on yourself, you're understanding more who you are with now a higher philosophical meaning relative to everything we sparked in March. And now this understanding of self is almost like you're seeing it with God's eyes. For those of you who are very into synchronicities, the synchronization process, aligning your inner world and outer world, allowed external stimuli to match more powerfully reflections within that, you guessed it, revealed more of who you are. And that's why this moon in Taurus is so very important, because now we're coming into a grounded Taurus understanding moon, grounded understanding moon in Taurus, that will take this application of who we are and now integrate a behavioral pattern with which can apply consistency to a vision that we literally created out of thin air. All right. And when we talk about visions, it's really just, what do you see you want to create for your life? Sagittarius season is all about the initial activation of ideas that we yearly firmware update in Gemini, representative of our thoughts and ideas. 30 days of course, inputting into the processing system of our brains new ideas. Then we go into integrative Virgo, and those ideas and attitudes must now become behavioral patterns and habits so that you're not just believing in Pisces and thinking and just being in that yin realm, you're making it real. And now that we have broken through, whether you have established bad habits, good habits, or a combination of the both, Sagittarius allows us to now break through a philosophical approach, a meaning towards everything you've done the past 9 months. And of course, we do this every year. Okay. Is it the planets that make us do this, by the way? Not at all. In fact, it's not like you have to look at this and this is what's happening, but it's a really good way to align with this. And you could just go back to these dates and see if that's what happened. Because this vision, we're going to go into March, and then we're going to complete this perspective that we do 4 times during, of course, June, September, now late December, and of March of next year. And then, of course, all over. And that's going to form new beliefs, new theories. Boom, we do it all over again. Next year, we're going to be in Gemini and update that. Okay. So the moon in Taurus not only takes metaphysical aspects and this more intangible aspect of the collective facet of ourselves, the higher self that we have, and the vision, the creation of how we are harvesting the results of everything that we have done and accomplished. And you're going to understand how to naturally take this vision and quite literally make it real. The consistency of a 150-degree angle like this, especially in Taurus, grounds the mechanic, the physiological mechanic of how you can now take what you've seen and produce consistency. And that's where it's very valuable, especially if you've journaled, to go back to the new moon in Sag we had like a week and a half ago. And what you're going to do is take each and every single one of those components and you're going to put them all together. Integration cycles are really great to understand. If you cook, if you make beats, the activation cycle from 0 to 90 degrees in whatever sign is going to be like getting the different parts of what ingredients you're going to use. We're going to use basil, we're going to use pepper, we're going to use pepperoni, or I'm going to use these hi-hats, I'm going to use these drums. And then when we get from 90 degrees to 180 degrees, we start to integrate them. It's like, okay, let me put this hi-hat with the drum like this. We're starting to put it together. And now with Taurus, that's taking an ascended vision with a natural physiology. Let's go deeper into that. Taurus is your natural senses. So your ability to see is a visual ocular sense. But Sagittarius is your higher mind. Okay, the lower mind that's ruled by Gemini and Virgo, the two aspects of the Mercury ruled signs of experimentation and analysis, have to deal with your brain's ability to, in this lower realm, calculate and be able to observe. But then we have the higher mind, which is quite intangible. What is everything I'm seeing meaning? It is because of this reason we're not really robots, right? That may not even be right, especially if AI is able to program this. And I'm sure AI can synthesize. Sagittarius represents comparative interpretation, right? But it's what takes our physical senses and shows this is what it means. For example, you can see me talking here and you can decide, oh, that means he's an amazing astrologer or he's a pseudoscientific con man. This is where philosophical arguments come through, but relative to now your natural understanding of your physical senses with the moon in Taurus and the conscious awareness of seeing collectively into the meaning of everything that you are inputting into your senses, your smell, your taste, your touch. A transit like this is not only going to integrate the ascension of supernatural abilities and powers. I'm going to get like increasingly sci-fi with this. The supernatural potential of your own consciousness is now going to be integrated with the physiological understanding of how exactly you're beginning to see beyond the physical. And that's why processes like this take time. Right? Relative to this firmware update, now, unlike the last few years we've had a transit like this where Saturn and Neptune were in previous signs, they're in Neptune. The metaphysical nature of Pisces, which represents everything beyond our senses, which is opposite Virgo. Pisces, a state of belief, opposite Virgo of analysis, that's going to be more focused on what's actually tangible, with, of course, slower earth molecules, allow us with the moon in Taurus to take how we shifted our beliefs 4 days ago and now support a natural physiological understanding to ground unseen concepts we can only sense in order to make real. And that's why in between, who you understand yourself to be is key. So that as you ground this very natural ascension of creativity, it will prepare us for I think one of the most magical full moons. I'm going to be saying mutable sign transits are always the most magical. So it's just like a commercial that says, this is the best. Okay. So when we come into one of the most magical full moons, and I say that because we're going to have moon on Jupiter and Gemini, square the Pisces, opposite Mercury retrograde, and the sun in Sag, this is going to harvest true meaning. We're going to come into an intellectual, true understanding of the meaning of this new vision we're seeing. And before that, we need to integrate everything about it that's actually real. Otherwise, a stable, mutable sign like Sagittarius can have you see into things that are very inspirational and very amazing, but fucking delusional. Okay? So thankfully, allow the moon in Taurus to maybe kill some of your dreams a little bit. Allow it to maybe bring you back down to reality and help you adjust what can be made real about this vision. So that when the moon is in Gemini, you are communicating the true meaning of how you have been ascending your consciousness before we do it all over again next year. Okay? I like transits like Sag and Taurus because the Sagittarian vision transforms the way we perceive what we are naturally sensing. And that opens the doorway slowly, subtly, and surely for you to see more, for you to notice certain facets. Now, let's add on to the fact that Uranus is also transiting Taurus. And as we are revisiting this 28-day cycle as the moon meets these planets, now the unconventional innovation of how your natural senses border and break through into the unconventional through extra dimensional senses will not only make the integration of this vision very fucking weird, but it's going to introduce innovation in a quality that will help assist this evolution of your mindset through Jupiter and Gemini to put words and vocabulary to, yes, I'm going to say it, supernatural phenomena that will, of course, be a part of this next era where we're able to continue to change our awareness and understanding of who we are, what we have, and how it is we manifest what we see. And that's, I think, the coolest thing about this Uranus and Taurus hack. If you practice law of assumption or not, your manifestations are going to be a lot more instant. And it's not because of a magical fairy that's just making it come true. It is just the act of aligning your conscious and subconscious. And in understanding the natural values you are innovating with which integrate and support this vision. Sagittarius is light. Light travels very fast. Taurus is the grounded earth, which is the slowest. You're putting one of the fastest zodiac signs with one of the slowest zodiac signs. So we need to slow down the perspective of what we're seeing into so that we can establish a grounded reality to it. And then we could talk a lot of shit when the moon goes into Gemini, excuse my language. I hope you enjoy this transit, but we started this off with a square to Pluto and Aquarius, which may, of course, have you feel a lot of intensity as the quality of energy you may be sensing. If you think of your brain as a frequency modulator, I don't know what a frequency modulator is. If you think of your brain as inputting and outputting frequencies, the intensity of those frequencies may now be dulled and grounded so that you can fulfill more of a capacity to not only be receptive to them, but to, establish more grounding as to not short circuit your brain. Anyway, miracles abound. I think you're going to enjoy this. And I will catch you on the next one, guys. I still have my 50% off sale. For those of you who would like transit forecasts, astrology reports, readings, you can get them as a gift for Christmas. I have gift readings on the consultations and reports tab, and they are all automatically 50% off after you put it in the checkout. So there's no code you have to enter. You just have to put it in checkout. It applies. And I'll see you next time.